Downtown Fargo is a really unique spot in this Fargo-Moorhead area. It has a lot of things going on. It has a downtown vibe that not a lot of the suburban areas have and not a lot of areas in small town North Dakota have. But what makes it good and what makes it bad? In this video, I'm going over some of the pros and cons of downtown Fargo, comparing it to other spots in the Fargo-Moorhead area and other spots in North Dakota. This is a continuation of some other videos I've done about like the pros and cons of North Fargo, the pros and cons of South Fargo, West Fargo, that sort of thing. So I'm going to continue that series for every different sector of the Fargo-Moorhead area. So if you want to watch that, stay tuned. I'm Zach Sykora. I'm your Fargo-Moorhead real estate agent, and I make these videos to give people information about the area who are relocating here or thinking about moving through or within this region. If you're curious about making a move, go ahead and reach out to me through all my contact information in the description below. So let's jump right into the pros and cons of living in downtown Fargo, North Dakota. First up, I'm going to preface that obviously this area is a little bit unique. There's not a lot of downtowns like this in, even the whole entire state of North Dakota or the Midwest. So it's very, very unique. There's a lot of shops. It's very walkable. There's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of amenities and there's a lot of events happening down in downtown Fargo. So that's going to be my first pro, is that it's very walkable. There's a lot of stuff in close proximity to each other, a great nightlife, great things to do. And there's a lot of events, Fall Festival, Red River Market, a ton of different festivals throughout the year. So there's always something going on in downtown Fargo, which again, can be a good or bad thing depending on how you look at it. If you're someone that lives in downtown and you're more of a quiet person, you don't like, the partying vibe or that sort of thing, may not be good for you because there's going to be something going on all the time. But if you like that, then it can be a pro for you. So it really depends on what your own personality is and what you're looking for. But there's always something going on in downtown Fargo. It's a little bit different than those quiet suburban areas where there's going to be people moving or walking around all the time, things happening, events happening, that sort of thing. So it's just something to keep in mind. And with that, the houses and mostly the condos or apartments in downtown kind of have a historic vibe. And they're a little bit unique compared to condos or apartments or houses anywhere else in Fargo-Moorhead. So you'll see very charming, you'll see the brick, you'll see unique layouts, you'll see very historic condos and very, very old buildings. Now, the thing with the condo market in downtown Fargo, if you know this or not, there's a ton of condos listed for sale right now. There's a ton available, there's a ton of inventory. So if you're selling one, might take a little bit longer, but you also have a lot of options if you're looking to buy one. One thing to consider with these condos too is parking. Parking is huge in downtown Fargo. Again, a good and bad thing. If you have a condo with underground parking, that's awesome, and private parking. But some of these condos actually don't even have parking spots. So you need to park in public parking ramps, or you need to park on the street, or find a place to park. And especially during those, busy times, the nights, weekends, that sort of thing, that can be really hard to find a parking spot. So again, that's something to consider if you're looking to move here into an apartment, condo in downtown Fargo. There is going to be less options for parking if the apartment or condo does not include parking. So again, that's a huge thing I would say if you're considering buying a condo in downtown Fargo, is that look at the parking. And again, obviously, make sure you make the right choice for you. The resale value is not going to be as good as it would be on a single family home just because there's just so many available. Now again, good and bad thing, you can probably get a better deal, but it may be harder to sell down the line. But there's some really unique ones. They're really cool, have loft views, have little green areas. They have exposed brick. So very charming and very unique compared to all the other condos and houses in the Fargo-Moorhead area. But again, something to think about and consider, and not really a pro or con, really depends on what you prefer in your house. And with that too, in the last 10 to 15 years in downtown Fargo, there's been a ton of growth, renovations on places. That's where the big chunk of these new condos are coming from, is they're renovating old buildings and they're making them into condos for people to live in. Or they were rentals before, now they're condos. So there's a lot of renovations, not just in the housing market in downtown Fargo, but also in the shops. You'll walk down downtown Fargo, you'll find, ice cream shops, cafes, restaurants, bars. There's a ton of different things to do and a lot of unique options in downtown Fargo. And they'll have the ice rink out here in a couple months when it becomes the winter, in that little green space and that little theater in downtown. So again, it's really diverse and it's not really something that you see in every small town in North Dakota. Fargo only has the really good and the really, I don't want to say poppin', but the good downtown in the North Dakota area. So it's really something that is unique to Fargo and can be a good and bad thing, again, depending on what someone prefers. Now some cons with downtown Fargo, of course, you're going to have the parking aspect. Then you got to think during the winter too, a ton of snow, a ton of cars, a ton of people all in one area. Can be harder to remove, can take a little bit longer to get places with that traffic too, especially during the busy hours, or finding parking if you're going there, just to go to the events. Finding parking during those busy times can be hard, but I already mentioned that earlier in this video. And again, another con, a lot of those condos are going to be in older buildings. So there may be more maintenance, or the houses that are in downtown Fargo or close to that downtown area are generally older because that's an older region of Fargo. So again, more maintenance on those houses. But again, it's a preference. You know, are you going to pay for a new house that you like that aspect more, you like that style more, or pay for an older house that you like that charm more, you like that character more, but you're going to have to do a little bit more upkeep? Might not be as expensive up front, but maybe more expensive down the line. So again, things like that to consider. And again, another thing with Fargo and with downtown too, I'm not saying this to try to steer someone one way or another. This is just my opinion. It is generally more unsafe in downtown Fargo than it is in other areas of Fargo, just with all the people that are there all the time, all the activities, all the events. Generally speaking, it's more unsafe if you look at the statistics based on the crime rates in downtown Fargo compared to more suburban areas. So again, that's another thing to consider of where your comfortability lies, because again, safety in this is all relative to what someone thinks. What's safe to me may not be safe to you, and what's safe to someone else may not be safe to someone else. So it's all relative, but I would say if you want more information on the crime rates, on the homelessness and that sort of thing in downtown Fargo, you can do your own research on it. I'm not going to say, you know, yes, it's safe if you're at this point, or no, it's not safe because of this, you know, because I'm not allowed to steer someone one way or another. That's just my opinion. So if you want more information on that, I'll leave some statistics and I'll leave some websites down in the description below for you to go and do your own independent research. But I'm not going to say that's pro or con. I'm not going to say anything about it just because I cannot steer you one way or another. So it's just something to consider too, is you need to look at the crime rates and you need to look at the safety aspect of downtown Fargo too. And again, this other con, it ties right back into what I said earlier. There's a lot of noise, there's a lot of things going on, there's always something going on in downtown Fargo. So if you're someone, you know, you don't like that noise, you don't like to have all that going on at the same time when you're trying to sleep or trying to hang out or whatever, may not be the best place for you. Again, it's all a matter of preference. A lot of these pros and cons videos that I've made, it's all a matter of preference. I'm just giving you information based on the area, what it has to offer. The great things about downtown Fargo is that it's very diverse, it's very unique. The unique layout, the unique, not necessarily layout, the unique things to do, the unique condos, the unique things in downtown Fargo, and there's always something going on. But again, with this, if there's stuff going on, there's gonna be people there. So it's all a matter of preference of what someone is looking for. But again, that's why I'm making these pros and cons videos, is to give people information on what's available and what's out there, so then they can make the best decision for what their goals are in their real estate move. Again, if you're considering one, just reach out to me through all my contact information in the description below. And stay tuned for my next video. It's going to be the Moorhead pros and cons, so you can stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.